Hey, welcome everybody. It's Prodromou and here with my good friend Gary Barnes. So we should have recorded what we just talked about for the last half hour, but here we are.
Timing is everything.
I think it was like 15 years ago now, close to 13. Yeah, about. But we met at a
Yeah,
James Malinchak event.
yeah, when we were young pups.
Right. And my first book had just come out, and that's how I got involved in that community. And then there you were sitting there, and you'd been to like 20 or 30 of his events.
Yeah, I went to 27 events in a row. I spent 1 year, 30 days at the LAX Westin. Well, it was not like one time. I mean, it was through the year, but it was to the point that when I walked in, they gave me the same room. They knew my name. I mean, it was like coming home.
It's like cheers. We walk in the door, Gary.
That's right. They knew my story. They did whatever, it's just like, here, we have your credit card on file.
Right. So, how did you get into this marketing and business coaching game? You've been doing this for a long time, but you had a whole nother life, obviously, before that.
I did, and I was sharing that with somebody this morning on another program that I'm an accidental coach. But in reality, I've been coaching and speaking my entire career, but not as a formal coach and a formal speaker. And but towards the end of my financial planning career, I owned one of the largest financial planning firms in production as a solo producer, top 3% in the country. I just there was a shift in the market in how they were allowing us to deal with people and represent people. And I knew that I was done. I couldn't do the work anymore the way I wanted to do. And so my people started coming to me and saying, would you tell us how you have built your businesses so high so quickly and all this? And I did the proverbial buy me a hamburger and I'll spill my guts. And then Sharon, and she said, no, you're not. And so it really did evolve. It was $100 an hour and then, whatever. But the thing that I realized early on, I was running out of time. There were so many people that were really, really good at what they do. Their widget, their process, their service, whatever that is, but they're really, nobody ever taught them how to do business.
Yeah.
And so I've never had a niche industry that never made sense to me. My personality, I like variety. So the niche that I really connected to early on as I went into the coaching was pain points. It was really the three biggest things. People are frustrated with the return on their investment of time, money, and energy. And so then I ran out of my time and I said, okay, how can I do more to more people? Plus the fact that I started doing the thing that I hate the most and writing books. So I'm credited with 10 now. Uh,
Wow.
I have a download of another one that I didn't want to do, but my download is, I call it a nudge. It said write another book. I argued for 4 days. On the fifth day, came back and gave me the title. And so hopefully, my goal is to have it out by the first of the year. But the thing that I started realizing is that my goal after my financial planning practice was to impact people and have an expansion to be able to touch and give people little nuggets, the things that a lot of times it's not a big change that people need to do, it's a small shift.
Yeah.
And people have been, and what we have been talking about before we recorded, and you and I have been around the horn. We've seen the back behind the curtains and all the things that go on in the industry. In fact, one of my clients who is had three number one real radio shows. She even beat Steve Harvey in the ratings. Uh, she said, I feel so slimy because of what she is saying. She goes, I go, well, but here's the thing. If we're not out there doing it, hopefully as legitimately as possible, ethically as possible, now we're saying go get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't work. So for me, it was an accident and it kept evolving. And now I have an international practice on the coaching. I've given over 1,000 talks, TEDx and PBS and all the networks, the books. And to me, I'm the kid next door. And my message to everyone
Yeah.
is if I can do it, you can do it. And I know that's your message, too. It's not that we were born with some kind of celestial, wand that gives all of the, magical elements and formulas. It's like, no, we're in it too. And we make mistakes, but being able to go out and share with people and giving them not only hope, but the process that they can implement to get a result and to do with that result whatever they want to do after that.
I think we're why we've been friends for so long and we have such a deep connection. I started my coaching practice the same way as you. Like, hey, buy me lunch and I'll coach you. We genuinely want other people. We want to help other people.
And well, I consider all of the people that, even the people that come to my events, my coaching clients, the people that I connect with in the speaking circuit, I consider it, and including you, you're one of my kids.
Yeah.
And the thing is that as parents, we want a couple of things. We want our children to do better than we ever did.
Yeah.
We want them to go out and really have a enhanced life. So we move the bar for them. The other thing is we want them to leave home.
Yeah.
You know, I love my grandkids. I love the kids, but come for a visit and then go back to your house. And to me, that's also an ethical way that I know you have the same philosophy that we don't want people where we're their sustenance, that we're their source of, energy and significance to where if something happens to us, they fall apart.
Right. Yeah, we like to mentor people and empower them to be successful. It's not
And
about,
go and touch other people. And because of that, we're actually having a wider impact.
yeah. Like when I was doing LinkedIn coaching, my competitors basically teach you how to send enough messages that you'll get a sale. And it's like not about building a relationship. It's about doing what it takes to close one sale, but then you never have a repeat sale and you never get referrals from that person. You and I, it's about building relationships with people that we've known people for 30 and 40 years now that we still do business with.
And even if we don't do business with them, we reconnect at times. And one of my past clients that you know very well too, Tanya Waring, is in Croatia right now, and she changed her flight to come back. Instead of going home, she's coming to Denver.
I saw that.
And it just makes me feel good because I'm also helping her in another adventure that she's doing.
Yeah.
And we go way back. And I was her coach, and we had Malinchek was all of our coaches back in the day. Then we did business together, and now she's on to another part of her life. But it's those small things that you take along. You build stories. My youngest son finally said that he believes I'll never retire because I collect people. And, I do. I mean, it's just, I do this because this is who I am, not what I do.
Right.
And so, you look at Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn was my first mentor.
Hmm.
Uh, as long as I have a mental capacity, I'm going to do what I do.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting, like in the boot camp that I do that you've been to and you've spoken at, the two things that are the biggest drawbacks I think for people coming is one, the investment to come is so low.
Yeah.
And they have had those type of things before. We were talking about a situation where it was really low. It was under $50, and then they got upsold all through the program. And that conversion type thing, it was like pressure, squeezing the
Yeah.
tomato, the lemon, the whatever to get whatever you can get out of it. And the programs that we do are totally independent of anything else. If somebody wanted to connect with us longer term, that's fine. That their opportunities are there. But it's not what I call the dog and pony shows,
Yeah.
where every 90 minutes you get a new $10,000 offer.
Right.
And so because of that, people have this leery, non-trust that, well, golly, 3 days, and I don't want to be sold for 3 days. And part of the ticket price that I do, I actually give a coaching call, a
Hmm.
free coaching session with me included, so that the value is actually there, like unlike some of the promises that we've seen on promos. And out of everybody that comes, no matter what people say in the audience that they've done it, it's not a commercial, whatever, I still get less than 10% of the people taking up a free coaching offer.
Yeah.
And when I talk to people, well, I just didn't, I didn't want to be sold, and because they think it's going to be a bait and switch,
Yeah.
and that's not what we do.
Yeah. And things have changed so much since the pandemic. The whole internet marketing thing was really rolling along. Then it started losing some steam. Then the pandemic hit and everything just kind of blew up. Now with Google making all these changes and Facebook making massive changes, the whole
Well,
landscape has changed.
I just saw one of my clients sent me a report this morning on YouTube changing.
Yeah.
They're always late to the game, but now they're putting on programs and they're catching up with some of these other things. But the biggest thing I think that people fall into is, well, somebody that you and I both know had told me I had to become people's savior. And when we look at some of these programs, if you look at their presentation, that's really what they're doing.
Yeah.
Is I've got the book of abundance and whatever. Come to me. I know the secrets and all the rest. And people have been running out of hope.
Yeah.
They've been running out of gas. They're tired. They're hurting. And in fact, a very international person called me last night about another person that we both know. And he said, it was a 5-day program where they were cajoled. And he said these people were hurting and the person was taking advantage of it. They closed a lot of business. But to me, that I've got to look at myself in the mirror
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make me better. It makes me different. It makes you different. I don't want anybody thinking that we're bad mouthing other people, like politicians.
Yeah.
Vote for me because they're bad. Um, my one of my goals though is to allow people to know the right questions to get good answers so they can have a better decision about what they do.
Yeah.
And some of the programs out there are so insidious. I get excited about them, and then I go, wait a minute. I step back and go, well,
Right.
if you put 2 plus 2, that doesn't equal 9.
Yeah.
But they said it does.
Right. And now
So
with AI, we've got so much trashy content being put out on their social media. It's getting hard to stand out. And you told me about one of your clients wrote 2 or 3 books that got rejected by Amazon, that she actually wrote the books. It's not AI.
she did some research, and there's something in the algorithms now. In fact, I had a Facebook post from, he's one of my speakers at my next bootcamp, Greg Jameson.
Yeah.
He's big into AI, and he created a music video through AI that virtually took my landing page, the information about the bootcamp, and AI created a song. It's really cool.
Right.
Facebook took it off and said I got blacklisted. They pulled the post off.
Wow.
And so I protested it. I haven't heard anything from my protest. It takes 14,000 years to get
They'll
a
never get to you yet. And AI is evaluating your post.
yeah, it got triggered with their AI triggered for that. But yeah, I have a client that it was her, she wrote it. She did, some research, but Amazon 3 times now has rejected the manuscript because they deem it AI.
Wow.
And so these are tools that are there, but it's we're still in the wild, wild west in
Yeah.
some of this. And we don't know what the rules are going to be longer term. But do your own work. I had
Right.
somebody the other day say, do you realize that all of the work that you've ever put out there, AI now has access to,
Right.
and they can use it free. So it's plagiarizing.
I even saw that they're starting to go into your Google Docs and your Google spreadsheets. Like
It's like,
that's personal, private.
yeah,
Obviously, it's not private.
well, and so it sounds a little bit, maybe by this time, I don't know how many minutes we've gotten in, but it sounds like we're gloom and doom. The good news is we're still here.
Yeah.
The good news, there are still great people out there doing good work, wanting to do it right.
Right.
And the needs of the people in business, in the if you're a B2B or a B2C business, there's enough business out there for everyone
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a little fear that's around what do I do because of the economy or whatever. But at the same time, it takes a little more work to be seen.
Yeah.
But if you're seen, you will get your share of business.
Yeah. People are still making money.
Go figure.
Yeah. What I like about your conferences, so I've been to hundreds of conferences, and yeah, you meet a lot of interesting people, but all the people I meet at yours are like genuine, like you and me. We just really want to help people. We really care. We're not out to rip people off. And you attract a room full of really great people.
And somebody said one time, "How did I do it?" And I go, there was no pre-programmed thought of this. But what I tell people, and we do speaker training as well, what I say is be the same person on stage as you are off.
Right.
And if people like you off stage, they'll like you on. If they like you on stage, they'll like you off.
Yeah.
So it really is to be seen. And some people, I, I always say I'm kind of dad. I've always, I said that, you guys are my kids, but dad always hears stuff, whether or not the person thinks, and I'm not looking for information. It just comes in the last 2 months. I had a person say I had given some advice to a person, and the person went to another person and they said, "Well, you could take Gary's advice if you want to still play as small as Gary does."
Ooh.
Well, okay. I go, I don't know what your definition is. I mean, it's just like, but and we really don't know each other.
Right.
And it's like, okay, there's an assumption there. Let's have a discussion. But it's really fun because I will be running into them in the next little bit, and they don't know that I know. And I may even say something from a stage. Some people really have this assumption that you're playing small and they don't even know you.
Yeah.
And it is like, see what the reaction is. But my little kid gets happy when I can play with people like that. But
Right.
yeah, it's we encourage people at the event to collaborate with each other. It's not about, and someone we both, I keep saying, I hate name dropping, but that it was, be marketing everywhere except where that person is. And for us, it's like where we were, if we're not the right mix or match, find somebody in the room that is.
Right.
And it's okay. This is what it is as far as collaborating
Yeah.
and not being competitors. And the journey is a whole lot more fun doing it that way for me.
Yeah. Definitely. So when is the boot camp and how can people sign up?
Well, the boot camp is September 20, 21, and 22 here in Denver, Colorado. People have asked me to do it virtually, and so far we've resisted because it would be a different experience.
Yeah.
And it is 3 days. It goes by very quickly. Real briefly, day one I call Foundation Day. It's the psychological and emotional of being in business. How do you stay in business? And we have very specific processes and exercises that we put people through. The unique thing about this event is that it's all of my proprietary ways that I have built my businesses. And so it's general topics, the way I have done it and built those businesses quickly and to a high mark. I also say this is not the way. It's a way, it's my way. So pieces of it, whatever you can take, take.
All right.
But then on Saturday and Sunday is all of the tactics. So it's the fundamentals of branding, marketing, all of the things that you need to build your business to be seen, to be relevant, and have that. What I really desire is to become a people magnet where people hear about you and they are drawn to you instead of us going out and converting. Doing how do I convert more? Well, that's not a question that we use
Yeah.
or a process that we teach. Uh, but we keep the investment. I mentioned it very low. It's $297 for all 3 days. If people come with a partner, it doesn't even have to be a relation or somebody in their company. There's actually $100 discount if you invest in 2 tickets. And so it's coming up right away. I would say if anybody is interested, they could go to breakthroughbusinessmastery.com and all the information is there. We're teaching how to use AI ethically. We're teaching on how to use YouTube this year. We're teaching on how to communicate, how to use words. We have my media trainer that does my speaker boot camp with me is coming in to do that. That is really, sometimes we're just saying the words wrong to connect with people seeing that we're the right fit.
Yeah.
And so we have those type of people that are going through, but it does go by very quickly. And how to use this, my whole goal is that for those 3 days, the person on Monday morning can take something out of the boot camp and apply it and make a difference in their life and in their business. And I only do this once a year now. So I had somebody this morning, when is it? And they go, oh, shucks, when's the next one? I go, in a year.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see if I can move some calendar around.
Yep. And you get a free coaching session for you one-on-one.
You get a free coaching session as well.
And nope.
And by the way, the coaching session is transferable. It does not expire. I've had people hang on to it for a couple of years and call me up and say, hey, I've never used mine. Can I?
Right.
It's totally an open invitation to use those.
Yeah. Well, Gary, this has been great. And everybody go to this event. Gary does such an amazing job. It's just, you meet so many amazing people and you get to hang out with Gary.
Well, the kid next door. We will have a lot of fun. I guarantee you will get a nugget, at least one nugget. When I go to an event, that's what I look for. I just want one nugget. I always get more, but I go to get a nugget. And that if you're really there and participating and engaging with the process that we, have invite people to go through, uh, you will walk away and have that one thing. Maybe you don't even know you were looking for that one thing that will change your business over the next 12 months.
And I bet you'll meet at least one person at this event that you'll remain friends with for many, many years after.
Yep. We look at our friends list. I did it the other day, and I go, okay, where did we meet? And through the years.
Yeah. And it's usually at in-person events, which are great.
We get a little lazy since COVID with virtual events. But there is something about, having lunch with someone or the evenings, going to dinner or on the breaks or sitting next to someone. And that's going to sound a little creepy maybe, but we know that scientifically we exchange DNA when we're in person. So we're literally sharing us with people when we're with people.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons that people need people. I did these programs through COVID where I could only have 50 people in a room of 1,400, square feet.
Yeah.
And people thanked me for it. That obviously there was no income, quite a bit of a contribution on my part, let's say.
Right.
But no, there is something special about that. And yeah.
It's nothing like seeing someone you hadn't seen in a year and you come up and give a big hug. It's like,
And
it's
you start the conversation as if it was yesterday.
right. Exactly.
That's something else that happens.
And that's what you're going to experience at Gary's event. So breakthroughbusinessmastery.com.
Correct.
Thank you, Gary. It's great talking to you.
Well, thank you for the
Talking
opportunity.
with you, not talking to you.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.